I survived 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. That's equivalent to 33 hours of just playing the game. And what's even crazier, I've never played Hardcore before. So this is gonna be a new experience for me. I didn't really have a plan when I started, so that was good, I guess. Let's begin. On day 1, the first thing I did was collect some wood. I made a crafting table and some sticks. After that, I made a pickaxe and an axe. I mined one more tree and then I went to collect some food. You need a lot of food if you play hardcore, because if you take damage, you want to regen as fast as possible. Then I mined some stone and made a stone pickaxe. Then I made a furnace and an axe. And put my food in the furnace that I collected earlier. While the food was cooking, I mined downwards to find some iron. And finding iron I did. I immediately smelted the iron and made an iron pickaxe. I went up to collect the food from my furnace. I mined one more tree and then I decided to go into the mine until I found diamonds and had full iron armor. In hardcore survival you need to have good armor or you will die in one hit. It's also handy to make a shield so you can block arrows from skeletons or block an entire creeper explosion. Here you can see I had full iron armor. After that, day 1 was over. Day 2 started and I instantly found diamonds. I mined the diamonds. I don't know why, but mining diamonds is still super satisfying. And after that, I got in a real close fight with a silverfish. I found a mine shaft but didn't find anything useful in it, so I decided to go up. When I was back on the servers, I instantly saw a village. So I went there to steal everything from them. Then I farmed some leather for my enchantment table. And I went on an adventure. I found a buried treasure map and I decided to go find the treasure. It was quite hard to find the treasure, but when I did find it, I got some nice loot. Including 2 diamonds, which was pretty nice. This is a clip of me killing horses because I needed leather. And I like to kill things. I put this clip in the video to mentally torture you guys. And yes, it really took 6 days to find a nice place to live in. But eventually I found a nice cave with a pond in it. I decided to go to sleep and after that fill the pond in with dirt. I mined out the cave and I had a plan of how I wanted everything to look. Eventually, I reached the other side of this small cliff mountain thing. Here is a nice drawing of how I wanted everything to look. I had a window on the other side of the mountain and I wanted to make my bedroom there. Next to the bedroom, I wanted to make an enchantment room, and next to that room, I wanted to make a small storage room. I got attacked by a zombie while mining out my bedroom. I placed the glass in the window and my bedroom was finished. After that, I mined out the enchantment room and the storage room. This is how my base looked at that exact moment. I filled in the floor with all the dirt I had because I wanted to make the floor of grass. And then, day 11 ended. This is how my base looked at that exact moment. And by the way, my sound didn't record for the following 3 days. I went up to my small pond thing and connected it up with the lake next to it. So now I am connected up and everything feels a lot bigger. Then I went ahead and mined out the entire floor of my cave. I filled it in with the dirt I got from mining out that small river. I also placed the chest in my chest room and filled them with all my items. I went caving and I spotted some diamonds really early. After mining those diamonds, I found some more right next to them. I went caving a little more and after that I returned home. I placed the last remaining bookshelves for my full enchantment table. And that's where day 14 ended. On day 15, I heard a lot of zombies next to my mine. I mined towards it and it was a zombie spawner. I decided to make an XP farm out of it so I could enchant all my gear. I placed all the water and mined out the killing chamber. I connected everything up. I removed all the torches from the spawning chamber. The farm really worked well. After 3 failed attempts, I finally got my dream pickaxe with fortune 3. So I went into a cave to find some diamonds and mine them with my fortune pickaxe. Here you can see I got full diamond really fast. Here you can see I moved my enchantment table and decorated it with some slabs. I AFK'd a lot of these 10 days so I could get some nice enchantments for my armor and tools. Some of these 10 days got corrupted, but it doesn't really matter because it was mostly me just AFKing for my enchantments. I built these 2 bridges and made an entrance at the enchantment room, because the enchantment table was down at my spawner. I mined out this small hill so I could connect them with bridges. And I made 2 farms, 1 cow farm and 1 sheep farm. On day 26 I started with mining out some trees and land for more space. I decided to make a house. I firstly made a layout for the house, then the base and then the house itself. I made the roof with some windows in it. I placed down some glass and the house was finished. I mined out some more space to build a farm there. There will be a wheat, potato and carrot farm here. I filled the holes with water and I hoed every piece of dirt there was. I placed down all the crops that I had and let them grow so I could fill them up later. I got 1 more cow, so I got 2 cows on my farm so I can breed them. I mined out some more space and lighted everything up. I slept so it would be daytime. Here I lighted everything up I just mined out. After that I mined out a ton more space and lighted everything up really nicely. On day 30 I decided to make a wall around my base. When I finally finished the wall, I saw that I could make a tunnel or a cave towards the other side of this mountain. I mined out the sides of this cliff to make it more flatter. Here you can see me mining towards the other side of the mountain. I accidentally found a cave that just led to the other side of the mountain, so I didn't have to mine as much as I had to do if there was no cave. Here you can see me fighting with the creeper. I swear I love shields. I would fill it up with water so boats can travel through the tunnel. After that, I decided to make a nice stable for my horse, so he could have a nice home and won't just wander around my entire base. I moved my horse into the stable and made him a nice drinking bin. The only problem was I made the bin 1 block too high, so I had to lower it 1 block lower, so he could not escape. I farmed all my crops again, fed the cows, and gave my horse some nice hay. I used all the space that I mined out earlier and placed some pathways in them. This is a clip of my horse spinning around. Eventually I ran out of cobblestone, so I decided to use some space I just mined out earlier to make a mine. While making this mine I got enough cobblestone to finish my pathways. I finished my pathways. After that I made a nice little shed around my mine and placed some trees around the shed. I decided to make a tree farm here, and right next to the tree farm I decided to make a nice park. I looked at a globe and I found this random island in the Pacific that I named my park after. I watched this beautiful sunset and then I went to farm my crops again. Some zombies got into my base, so I decided to make a gate. I finished some small things around my base. After that I mined a little, but I didn't find anything useful. So I decided to go into the Nether. I got a decent spawn in the Nether. I spawned next to a fortress, which was pretty nice, but this biome is just awful. I mined upwards to place my portal there, so it wouldn't be dangerous to go into the nether. After that, I went down to break my old portal and went up again. I mined to the coordinates of a village I found earlier, during my exploration around day 7. I went into the portal, and yes, I did my maths correct. After that, I made a big shed for my villagers, so I could breed them, and to get some nice trades from them. I lured the villagers in with their workstations. It didn't really go too smooth. I placed down their beds and gave them some bread so they could breed. I went back to my base to get some paper for a lectern. I placed the lectern a lot of times to get a mending deal. I also got a Fletcher, so I could trade sticks for emeralds. But eventually, I got a nice depth strider deal for really cheap, so I decided to take it because I really wanted the depth strider deal. The first thing I did on day 42 was trying to get a nice mending deal. Eventually, I got a nice mending deal. It was only 20 emeralds, which is not the best, but it's pretty average. But I needed a lot of sticks for this, so that meant I needed a lot of wood. After getting some wood, I traded some sticks. Eventually, it was going too slow, so I decided to plant some big spruce trees. One instantly grew, so I instantly mined it out. I traded some more sticks. But this all went way too slow, so I decided to mine some wheat. I grabbed some gravel for another fletching table. I went back to the village. I traded the wheat with my villager. I mined some more wood for sticks. I mined some more wheat. Traded some more wheat. Mined some more wood. Mined some more. I got 2 Fletchers, which is pretty nice. I traded a little with them. A little more. And I was just 22 emeralds short. So I went to collect some more wood. Crafted some sticks. I traded with the villagers. And it was just 1 emerald too short. So I went back to collect some more wood. While trading, I realized I needed 9 more emeralds so I could buy a bookshelf, so I could get enough books to buy all the mending books. So I went back outside and I robbed some houses of their pillars so I could get enough wood for enough sticks. I traded all my mending books, which was pretty satisfying. I grabbed my stuff and went back home. Back home, I put all the mending books on my tools and armor, including my depth strider book I got earlier. When I was done, I decided to make a nice doghouse for my dogs. I made some pathways to connect the doghouse up with the main road, and then I placed the dogs in the doghouse, which was not as easy as you think it was. I finally decided to make my house, but for my house I needed a lot of wood. I placed down all the wood I had and farmed some more. This went on for some time. I even had to place a big spruce tree down, so I could get enough wood. When I was finally finished with my house, it was time to make the roof. I went with the same roof design as a random house I built earlier in this series. I finished my roof and the only thing I had to do was place down the windows. But when I placed down the last window, I was 1 glass pane too short. So I had to get some more sand for more glass. While mining the sand, the entire river just collapsed on itself. I placed down the final glass pane, and after that I placed down my bed with 2 nice nightstands. Then I slept. The first thing I did when I woke up was look out of my window. I got this nice view of my entire base, which is pretty nice. After that, I farmed all my crops and ate their friends in front of them before feeding them. After that, I decided to make a watchtower. I watched a nice sunset. It was pretty nice. I could see my entire surroundings, including a pillager tower I didn't know were there. And then I was halfway through my 100 days hardcore. Enjoy the other 50 days. On day 51, I wanted to find some ancient debris to make some netherite tools and armor. I had to get out of this basalt biome first, which took like 1500 blocks to mine. But eventually I got out of this stupid biome. There was one more problem though. But eventually I got down to Y level 15 and started mining for some netherite. After 5 minutes I got my first ancient debris, which I was pretty happy about. I could mine forever because of these quartz. They give me a lot of XP and I have mending, so I could repair my pickaxe infinitely. After 30 seconds I got my second ancient debris. I was down here for about 3 to 4 hours. Because it was very unlucky, I eventually ran out of food, which was a big problem. I tried a variety of different tactics to get ancient debris. This one didn't really work that well. Eventually, I got 16 ancient debris, which was enough for my pickaxe and most of my armor. I had to get to the exit first though, which was pretty hard. When finished, I mined towards the coordinates of my exit. When I finally reached the exit, I went home. I smelted all my ancient debris, crafted up all the gold I got from the nether, made a smithing table, crafted some netherite ingots, and I made my chestplate and leggings netherite first so I could get better protection. After that I made my pickaxe and my boots netherite. I went down to my XP grinder to repair my pickaxe. I decided I wanted to make a small village here. And I mined out some space. After that I mined out the roads. And I wanted to fill them up with cobblestone, which I didn't have, so I had to go mining. I went mining for some time and after that I placed all the cobblestone I had. It wasn't enough though, so I had to go to the mine again. I finished the roads and started on the small houses. I have to admit, the houses weren't the best I ever made, but that didn't really matter to me. I placed in the door of the first house and it was finished. I needed some more wood and I went back to the village. I worked on the other houses. I made the floors of all the houses of diorite, which some of you may not be happy about. After a while, I was finished with all the houses. I decided I wanted to make a big map here. So I killed some cows and I placed down all the item frames. By the way, item frames look kinda cool on these birch trapdoors. I didn't have a lot of sugarcane though, so I had to plant it so it could grow more. After that I mined out some more area to build a wall around my village. This wall took some time and some cobblestone, but eventually it was finished. I placed down some of my maps. After that I decided I wanted to make a river between these two lakes. So that's exactly what I did. I wanted to go into my house to sleep, but I had a nice surprise there. Eventually I did go to sleep. Here I went AFK a little. After that I found out that my cows escaped, so I had to get them back into their cage. After that I decided to decorate my house. I made a nice TV here with a couch to sit on, which I actually never did in these 100 days. From day 65 to 70, I just went AFK, I had to eat dinner. On day 71, I sheared my sheep so I could make some paintings for my house. I got this nice wither painting and a spider painting. After that I got two nice 2x1 paintings of a man on a bike or something. After that I made this weird wall here. I put my bed behind it. I made this wall so I could place two big paintings on it. On day 72, after my AFK session, my sugarcane grew. I harvested it for my large map. I made all the maps I could and placed them all down. After that I farmed my wheat. I placed it all back and I decided to make a nice wheat hill on the other side of this nice river. I placed all the water and hoed all the grass. After that I placed all the seeds down I had, but I didn't have enough, so I just looked at it a little. I don't know why. After that I decided to go to my XP farm to get the last remaining enchantments for my bow. Eventually, after 5 days, I put infinity on my bow and looting 3 on my sword. On day 78, I downloaded this texture pack, so my shields wouldn't be as high up in the screen as usual. After that, I went into the Nether. I went into the Nether so I could trade with some piglins. I wanted to get some ender pearls so I could go to the end. No problem. I killed some endermen that were already there. After that I traded for about an hour with piglins, and those guys took around 2 stacks of gold from me and didn't give me a single ender pearl. So I went on an adventure to find that blue forest biome where endermen spawn a lot. I killed some endermen and I had enough ender pearls. I went back home, and you might remember there was a fortress right next to my portal. So I went there to get some blaze rods. There were a lot of wither skeletons, and by a lot I mean a lot. Without my golden apples I would have probably never made this video. I picked up the last blaze rods and went home. At home I made all my Eye of Enders and I was ready to go to the end, but I was gonna do that at 100 days, so not yet. On day 81 I fed my cows, harvested my sugarcane, and after that I went into my XP grinder to try and get my armor to the max enchantments. Like for example feather falling 4 on my boots and protection 4 on my helmet. I wanted to get every single piece of armor to max enchantment so it could protect me. I also used the enchanted armor from the zombies and put it into the grindstone so I could get XP. It took me around 3 days to get max enchantments for everything. After that, I decided to go and make some more maps for my large map. I placed down the maps and AFK'd a little, so I would get some more sugarcane. After that, I went ahead and made some more maps. I got the bottom left corner and placed it down. I didn't really do much for these past 5 days except AFKing and maxing my armor. The first thing I did on day 87 was collect some sugarcane. I used all that sugarcane to make some maps. After that, I had the top left corner done. So I was almost done with the entire map. I wanted to finish the map, but I didn't have enough sugarcane for that. So I had to place it all back. After that, I found this diamond horse armor in my chest. So I decided to give it to my horse. When I gave him the armor, I thought, let's give him a name. So I grabbed a name tag and went down to my anvil. I named my horse Souffle. I don't know why, I just did it. After that I went up, and I gave my horse the name tag. Yo Souffle. I accidentally destroyed my painting, but when I placed it back, it was the same. I decided I wanted to make my logo on the top of the mountain next to my base. For that I needed a lot of wool, so I bred my sheep and I sheared them. After that I went AFK for about 15 minutes, and when I got back, I made some more maps. I placed down the final remaining maps. It took some time before they were correctly put into the right place. But eventually it was finished. I decided to go work on my logo again. But as you may have noticed, my logo has some yellow in it. So I needed to go and find some yellow flowers. I made some yellow sheep, and after that I decided to go and shear them. I wanted to make my logo up here. So I cleared out some area and started to make the frame of the logo. I finished the frame and I made the smile first. After that I made the sunglasses, which were a bit harder. I had to get some more flowers. I fought an enderman. I shore some sheep. And I went ahead and finished up my logo. I didn't have enough though. I AFK'd a little so my sheep would grow. After that, I shore my sheep. I went up the mountain. And I finished my... Okay, I didn't have enough again. I went AFK again. I sheared some more sheep. And I finished my Okay, I didn't have enough again, so I had to get down. I got some more flowers and sheared all my sheep. I parkoured to my logo and I finally finished it. And this is the end result. Yeah, I know, it looks pretty cursed here. No, actually, it looks pretty swag. I farmed some more wheat for my hill. And I placed it all down. You can clearly see which chunks I've loaded in and which one I haven't loaded in. I still didn't have enough seeds to fill everything. Again. The next thing I did was prepare for the end fight. I made this nice thing where I would put the egg if defeated. I set my respawn point here so I wouldn't spawn at spawn, which was like 10,000 blocks away. And I watched the sunset before I went to sleep in real life. When I woke up, I was ready for the end fight. I grabbed my horse and went into the direction the eye told me to. I found this ruined portal on the way there. It had 2 gold blocks, which was pretty nice. I threw another eye and it told me to go into the same direction, so I did. Eventually, I had to leave Souffle behind, because there was a large body of water. I couldn't cross it with him. I couldn't sleep because then my respawn point would have been reset. So I had to pass the night on foot on the desert. It wasn't really that hard because I had my armor. Eventually I went too far, so I had to turn back. Little did I know, I went too far again, so I had to go back again. Eventually the eye told me to go down. So that's what I did. There was nothing down here, so I had to use this little trick I found of being in F5 and looking through the wall. Just like that, I saw the portal. I found it and I placed the nether portal down. And I saved the coordinates in the nether. I placed down all the ice and went into the portal. I instantly threw an ender pearl so I wouldn't get thrown off the map, and I mined upwards. I decided to get the egg. And I gathered some more ender pearls. Then I jumped into the portal. And blah blah blah, nobody wants to see this. I went to sleep. The first thing I did when I came out of the end was making this cage for my egg. The second thing I did was going back to get souffle. I eventually got to him and mined him out and went back home. When I was home, I decided I didn't like this design I made for the cage, so I made it like this. I mined out some more wheat, and I finally had enough to finish this hill of wheat I made earlier in this series. I updated the map, which looked way better than the brown it did before. After that, I just vibed a little in my entire base. I spent a lot of time in this tower because I liked the view. I even sniped some sheep because why not? Oh yeah, I sniped some cows too. I even almost sniped my dogs. After that, I just looked a bit out of my tower. And after that, I watched the last sunset before day 100 ended. By the way, if you're still here, thanks for watching the entire video. I really appreciate it. This video took me 40 plus hours to make, so I would like to ask you if you could like the video. If you really enjoyed it, you can also subscribe, but I'm not forcing anyone. Thanks for watching, see you next time.